This is the December 9th, 2025. A couple of months ago, I wrote a piece in New Politics called Awful Court Decision Says Jews and Israeli Flag Are the Same. In it, I denounced a federal court ruling that declared Jews were a race and said the six-pointed star was a symbol of that race. It all had to do with an incident in Washington, D.C. in 2024. In a civil case, a judge granted a stay-away order of protection against a 73-year-old woman whom the judge declared had committed battery, and that's the use of force, against another woman by yanking on an Israeli flag that the woman had been wearing around her neck. He further said that battery was done out of racial animus against a Jewish person. My point in the article was that whatever the truth was about the claim of battery, it was pretty clear that the dispute was all about Israel and not about people of Jewish faith or Jewish race. I was eager to hear more on this and was able to get in contact with the woman who allegedly committed the assault, Janine Ali, to hear her side of the story. We'll also be joined by one of her attorneys, Younes. Younes is the National Legal Director of the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. Good afternoon to you both.
Thank you for having us.
Good afternoon to you.
So what
Thank
is
you.
the date, Janine? Now, both your names are pronounced Jenin, so I'm going to have to be more precise. So, Janine Ali, what was the date of the incident in 2024?
It was November 13th, 2024.
Okay, you're sounding very soft, so if you could project a little bit more. So it was November of last year, so it's been over a year
November
now.
of last year.
So what action were you going to on that date? What was going on?
I was invited by three groups, Code Pink, Jewish Voice for Peace, and If Not Now, to come and lobby with them in the Senate. We were going to mourn the children that were massacred in Gaza and
when you say
go
lobby,
from
I'm sorry
lobbying,
if I
yes.
interrupt you.
Yeah, we'd be going from Senate office, either trying to meet with the senator or with their staff. We had postcards with pictures of many of the children that were massacred.
So you weren't going to have a demonstration in the building?
No, they're not allowed in the building. No
And what
demonstrations.
building is this again?
This was in the Dirksen cafeteria.
And you might have said it already. Is that the Senate or the House?
The Senate.
The Senate. Okay, so you
Actually, it
were
was the
going to
Hart building. It's this,
Okay.
yeah.
So you were going to try to reach these senators, and you told about the groups that were sponsoring.
Yes.
So describe then what happened as you went into the cafeteria.
I was running late. As soon as I got to the cafeteria, I was met with like 25 Capitol Police. And I've never seen that many in the Senate before. So I called Michelle, who is a social media coordinator for Code Pink, to ask her if I was in the right place. And she said, yes, go straight into the next, and go through the door into the next room of the cafeteria. So I'm still on my phone because I didn't hang up. As I walk into the next part of the cafeteria, there were 6 police officers on the left. And I noticed right away that the lieutenant in the white shirt was there. When the lieutenant is in the area, it's escalated. So I I'm walking. You have to go down a ramp to get to the tables and chairs where the groups were sitting. Uh, as I'm walking, a lady backs up. She takes a step back in my path. And as she stepped back, that's when I noticed she was wearing the Israeli flag. But at the same time, I had to move and, get past the police officers and get past her. And my hand was still, the phone was still in my hand. It's like getting in a crowded subway. You see a space, it, you get in and you hope for the best. I just went in and because of the surgery on my knee, I just had a knee replacement. I'm not a completely, good walker. And I
Are
went,
you
I sat
using a
down.
cane or something?
I use a cane, most of the time, but that day I didn't take it with me. I felt
I see.
good. When I sat down, about maybe 5 minutes later, um, there was two officers that came and said for me to get up. And I go, why? And the younger one said, I heard him say, you pulled her flag. And I said, I pulled her flag. And and he said the words, I saw you.
Hmm.
Okay, so I got up.
Let me stop you for a second. So you're sort of rushing to get with the other people, and you're
Yeah,
going down that ramp.
right.
And did you see that person with the Israeli flag who's kind of backed up?
I only saw her when she took a step backwards.
Uh-huh.
Up until that time, I didn't see her. And if it would have registered in my mind, that it was a counter protester, but it never occurred to me that anybody would be there to counter protest for murdered children. So it didn't register, when they said that I targeted her or something. I had no idea. Um, but I never saw her face. She never saw my face.
So you didn't know who she was at the time.
I had no idea. No.
Okay. So then these policemen go to you and say you pulled on her flag. And again, for emphasis, you said in response when they said you pulled on her flag.
I said, I pulled on her flag. I was asking a question.
Yeah.
And at that moment, that's when the police officer took it as a confession.
So
He
then what
was saying
happens?
like I pulled the flag question mark like wait, she's accusing me of pulling the flag, but that was taken, out of context.
Is there any recording of that? Did the police have
No,
that as?
there was no recording.
Yeah.
But
I mean, go ahead.
in criminal court, um, I my one of my other lawyers produced a video, which I didn't see until 2 days after the incident. You could see her, it looks like it was seconds after the incident. She started with the lieutenant. She was going from officer to officer. Did you see her? We could hear her in the video. Did you see her assault me? Did you see her assault me? And who saw the last one in the end? The police officer that said he saw me? Um,
So
Officer
she's
Bani.
trying. She's going to several of the police officers,
She went down the list, right?
and then one does agree with her or goes to
Yeah,
investigate or something like
I'm
that.
not sure. It could have been he saw the hijab or whatever. I'm not sure. But
So were
if
you
he said
arrested then
I was arrested immediately, yes.
and taken
Well,
where?
I was taken to the Capitol Police Headquarters, which is like next door to the Heart Building. And when we got to the Heart Building, because Bonnie said, I saw you, I scolded him inside when we were alone. I said, shame on you. I go, because he looks like he's 18. He looks like one of my grandsons.
Wait
I
one
said,
second. You said Bonnie. So
yeah,
this is the officer who,
this is the officer Bonnie, yeah.
okay. So you
I,
scolded him, you
s-
say, okay.
I said, would you lie about your grandmother too? And he just looked at me and I go, you probably would, because I had said, why did you lie?
So you're arrested, and then were you out on bail? What happens?
Uh, I was arrested and I was released about two hours later, but with a court date for a criminal because yeah, it was under criminal.
Now, Janine Younes, were you involved at this point? When
No, I came onto the case later. So, and she was acquitted in criminal court, which is an important fact. That's pretty
Yeah,
rare. Yeah.
I wanna get into that.
Yeah. No, I came on after the judge granted the judge in the civil case granted the preliminary injunction motion. I think everybody was expecting that to go away. So at that point, they decided, they needed to bring other people on board.
So let's go back to the criminal. So what was that? Was it a trial? Did it get to a
It was
trial?
a trial. Yes.
Okay,
It
First
was
we
a
had a
bench trial, so it was just with a judge, not a jury. Sorry.
no problem.
yes, it was Judge Campbell,
Mhm.
and he heard I had one witness, and it I was one of the witnesses also, and it was Kamara, and her witness was the
Wait a second. Who was
officer.
Kamara? Who was Kamara?
She's the person who's brought the charges against me.
So that's Kamara Summerall?
Sumerol, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry if you could continue.
Yeah, her witness was Officer Bonnie. So when we finished, the judge had said that my witness and myself was credible and that I was candid and that her witness, their stories had holes in it, basically not truthful. So he acquitted me right there.
Were you were found not guilty or dismissed? What
I
was
was found not guilty.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
And you assumed, I guess, that that would be the end of it?
Well, we knew she had a civil case in Superior Court, and Superior Court was waiting to see the outcome of the criminal. We went to the we had a court date at 2 p.m. for the civil and the Superior. When we went at 2 p.m., we had found that they had already filed at 10 a.m. in the federal court, and they added anti-Semitism to the charges. So they dismissed the civil superior.
Okay, so they're moving to the federal level, and they're doing this civil case. Is this case the one where they get a restraining order?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the one where I read that court's decision. Yeah,
Yeah.
Janine, perhaps could you tell us about that decision?
Yeah, so this was in the context of a preliminary injunction motion granting it, and that's a form of emergency relief in civil court where you're saying you're suffering some ongoing harm that has to be immediately halted. We don't have time for a trial, and it requires a pretty high showing. So you have to show that you're likely to succeed eventually on the merits of your claim, and then that you'll suffer some irreparable harm absent the injunction. So what the judge did was he looked at sort of the substance of the claims and said she's likely to succeed. Summerall is likely to succeed on the substance of her claims, so I'm going to go ahead and grant this restraining order. And the problematic reasoning is, comes from that decision where he Basically, the claims that they raised, this is sort of boring legal stuff, but kind of unavoidable for understanding it. There is a section of civil rights law or a provision of civil rights law called Section 1981. Like a lot of people have heard of Section 1983, 1985 that allow you to bring claims based on violations of your civil rights. Section 1981 is much less frequently used. And it's generally used in the context of contractual relationships, and it has language to that effect. It also it's a little bit unclear exactly what else it covers, but if it's not in the context of a contractual racial discrimination in a contractual relationship, it's supposed to require state action, like a nexus to state action. So if you show that like the district attorney didn't prosecute the case because the victim was Black or something like this, and it arose during the civil rights era to prevent racial discrimination in contractual relationships and in state enforcement of the laws. So it's our opinion that it's an improper use of the statute because this does not have a nexus to state action. It's not a contractual relationship. And this is not racial discrimination. Even if Jenin did it, which she didn't, but even if she did, we're just assuming for the sake of argument, the statute doesn't apply because this was clearly about protesting or objecting to or animosity towards a country's actions, not discrimination against an individual because of her race, or ethnicity. Section 1981 does not cover religion. So they argue that Jewishness is a race, which courts have accepted, so we can't really contest that, although there are problems inherent in that presumption as well.
So let me summarize so far what we have. So, Janine Ali, you say that you were hurrying to meet up with some people. You were going to be doing lobbying, and then someone kind of backs into you, but then you
Correct.
continue on. You didn't know who that person was. You continue on to meet up with the people you were going to lobby with, and then police come in. Then they arrest you. It goes to trial, and you're found not guilty. But at the same time, we have this protection order. And so are you appealing the protection order? Is that something, or what is going on legally now?
Well, we're appealing the entire decision, not just the preliminary injunction. So, well, sorry, we're not appealing yet. We will appeal if we lose, which given it's the same judge is likely. So we've asked the judge to reconsider his initial decision, which you can file a motion for reconsideration. Judges don't grant them often because you can imagine most people don't like to admit they've made a mistake, especially judges. So that's sort of a Hail Mary, but he did get the law wrong. I think it was just very clearly assessed incorrectly. And then we also moved to dismiss. So those are kind of on two separate tracks, but they raise similar arguments, basically that this application and construction of the law was incorrect. So we have those going on. We're also fighting, there's a motion to strike because the plaintiff amended her complaint to include pages and pages of fabricated Middle East history, claiming that there's basically no such thing as Palestinians, that Arabs immigrated to the region because Jewish people had made the desert bloom in the early 20th century. And then the so-called Palestinians, as they say, started just terrorizing the Jews. And this all proves that Janine Ali bears inherent animosity towards Jewish people. I mean, just complete absurdity on so many levels. So we moved to strike under a rule that permits you to say that this part of the complaint should have to be removed because it's scandalous, impertinent, and there are cases saying that basically just racist allegations fall under that definition, and that this is just racist. They're like making up history and then saying, based on this made up history, Janine Ali is clearly anti-Semitic, and that's why she did this. They have a lot of other nonsensical things in their complaint, like she named her son Jihad, which they claim means like terrorism against Jews, just some made up thing. That's not what jihad means. My dad's an Arabic linguist. He's like, that's not what that means. It generally means a struggle. It can be used in the context of fasting. It's like trying to better yourself, struggle for the greater good. Just a lot of what is it? The keffiyeh. She wears a keffiyeh, which is a sign of hatred of Jews. Again, like complete
Mhm.
garbage. So their complaints and briefs are just rife with lies and fabrications. And we are confident that if this judge hasn't seen the light of day, that when we go to appeal, and we will appeal all of it to the DC Circuit, where you get a three-judge panel, that we will have a much better outcome.
Now, one thing that bothered me as a Jew was this idea, number one, that we're a race. I mean, that was Hitler talk. That was fake science from 100 years ago, that the Jews have common physical characteristics, biological, this or that. I mean, we fought against that whole nonsense. And here this judge is just, a federal judge is just saying it. And then secondly, that the Israeli flag represents us, or even that the six-pointed star represents us. I mean, he refers to the Star of David, which is it's just propaganda. David never had, King David, whatever you want to say, whether it's a Bible story or actual fact, no one says that he actually used that symbol. But here we got this six-pointed star, and the judge here says it represents the Jewish race. I mean, he says, and he quotes the Encyclopedia Britannica as a source. It doesn't seem that scholarly to me to do that, but he says, well, it was a symbol that the Nazis made the Jews wear, and it's commonly understood as something important. I forget his exact words, and I can understand that, but it also has another meaning now after decades of mistreatment of the state of Israel, of Palestinians and others, and now this genocide. For many Jews, this idea of this six-pointed star representing us and not that abominable administration there in Israel, is offensive. There's my big editorial.
It's also, I mean, context matters, and the judge completely ignored it. Like, this wasn't, it would be one thing to go up to somebody who's wearing a Star of David necklace on the street and grab the necklace and pull it off. You might be able to presume, okay, that's like animosity towards someone just because they're Jewish. But this is at a protest or whatever, a demonstration about what Israel is doing in Gaza to the children of Gaza. And it's the Israeli flag. It's the blue Star of David emblazoned on a white cloth. That exemplifies or symbolizes Israel specifically, not Judaism. And so the judge kind of stripped this of context. And in my opinion, this was a sort of surprisingly unnuanced decision from a federal judge. I hope that, his docket was heavy. He felt he had to get this off his plate and is willing to reconsider. Uh, Otherwise, we're going to have to go to the DC circuit.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important decision. It's not just one person. I know it affects you, Janine Ali, but these things that were said, that Jews are a race, and the Star of David, anything with the Star of David on it is sort of like a holy thing. Pretty bad.
One thing to note,
Go ahead.
the plaintiff, uh, Kamara Sumral, is the director of Bitar DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you know, Bitar is one of the most violent Zionist groups,
I mean, they've been
noted by.
they've been designated a hate extremist group by the Anti-Defamation League, which is not exactly friendly to our side. Just yesterday, they posted on Twitter, there was a 3-year-old girl who was shot in Gaza by the IDF, and the IDF said they had killed a terrorist who crossed the yellow line, and someone had put on Twitter, "Is this the terrorist of the 3-year-old girl?" And Beitar responded, "Yes." So whether or not that's true, Beitar is gloating about the IDF killing a 3-year-old girl and calling her a terrorist. I mean, this is, and I'm not saying, maybe Kamara Sumral, she belongs to the group. That doesn't necessarily mean she agrees with every single thing that other people in the group say, but this is the type of group we're talking about. I mean, I don't think her ideas fall that far outside of what other people, what they're posting on Twitter. So,
Now,
the
Batar,
judge just got this completely backwards, in my opinion. Kamara Sumral is the one who's a member of a hate group. She is the anti-Semite, since Palestinians are Semitic, and she is the hateful person.
okay. To summarize, then, Janine, so you deny assaulting this woman, and you were there not even for a protest. You were found innocent at a criminal proceeding, but now there's this legal action against you, and you're going to appeal or reconsider and then appeal or take measures to defend yourself. Have I got that
Correct.
right?
You got that right, yes. Can I add, as soon as I was exonerated from criminal court, Kamara, as the director of Batar, got onto their social media and announced that she made me the head of Code Pink, said Janine Ali, head of Code Pink, assaulted the head of Batar and got away with it. And then they named the Judge Campbell, and they put pictures of me, different pictures, and the video when I was being arrested. She put my name, my age, my picture, and where I live. So all of this was on social media, every kind of social media you can think. The next day, that's when the death threats started coming on her social media, that maybe they should kill me, kill my inbred kids, many nasty things. There was threats to Judge Campbell. Um, I contacted the Judge Campbell's office, and his assistant asked me to send her the screenshots of all of the threats. After I sent her screenshots, she answered me back. She sent me an email back saying that all these screenshots were sent to all the security offices in all the courts and to the U.S. Marshal's office, and that they thanked me for sending it. Right after that, I contacted the FBI. And when the FBI contacted me back, she asked me what's going on. And I said, a member of Batar, has put my face up there, doxed me. And now I'm getting death threats. And I said, do you know Batar? And she said, yes, Janine, I know Batar. And they did a file. So everything that they've done, is with the FBI right now, and apparently the U.S. Marshal.
And but Batar doesn't deny that they put your name and personal information up on the web.
No.
Oh, this is some story, some situation. I really appreciate you both speaking to me.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us.
you. Thank you. Thank you very much.